Hello and welcome to weekend doubles version of the Remsen Stakes. I'm Gerald. That's Nick. How you doing, Nick?
We're talking the Remsen, which is
Oh,
I've historically said I hate this race for the Kentucky Derby, but Dornoch, who won the Belmont that next year, and who beat him, or he beat the other one. Oh, I've screwed this up. It was the one that won the uh, classic this year. That just won the
forever young.
classic forever. No, not the one that ran the classic last year.
I can't think either.
I got this all stuck in my head. Sierra Leone. I know names.
Oh,
Sierra Leone ran second to Dornoch in this in 2023. That was a good intro I just did. We should start that one over. Not live or anything.
unfortunately, we can't. We're a little rusty right now. This race was much earlier than I thought, but we got about. Let me just check here real quick. I think it's about 12 minutes to post. So they're a little bit behind. I think it was scheduled for 8 after. It looks like it's going to be more like 14 after. So that gives us some time to catch up. Let me go over the field real quick then. It's a field of 11. We had one scratch, the 12. It's 1 mile, a mile and an eighth on the dirt. The aqueduct it has three curling colts. Um, like I said, the scratch of the 12, probably dreaming, is out. The one is 1 day starter. Junior Alvarado rides, was third in the Nashua. The two is Paladin. Flavian Pratt rides for Chad Brown. This gun runner debut winner at Aqueduct. The three is I Did. Joel Rosario rides, was fourth last time in the Street Sense. The four is Grittiness. This is a long shot that I really like. Jamie Rodriguez rides, was second last time out in the maiden special weight. Is over 0 for 3, but I think you use this one underneath. The five is Chambersville. Chris Elliott rides for Kenny McPeak, a winner last time at Keeneland at a mile and an eighth, so you know he's going to get the distance here. The six is Courting. This is the $5 million colt by Curlin. Johnny V rides, was winner last time out after a really disappointing debut. The seven is Igniter. Manny Franco rides, was winner last time in a 1 mile race. The eight is Concarno. Sanchez rides for Dutro, who was sixth last time out at Laurel. The nine is Renegade. Irad rides for Todd Pletcher, second last time out to Paladin at Aqueduct in October. The 10 is Balboa. Ricardo Santana rides for Brittany Russell, was winner last time out in the James Lewis Stake at Laurel. This one's 2 for 5. And the 11 is another one I like, Talkin. Kinder Carmouche rides for Danny Gargan, second last time in the Champagne, behind a really nice Napoleon Solo, who won in a 1 mile race in a time of 134. Talkin had a real nice run late. Was only about 4 or 5 lengths back, but was gaining ground. He needs to stay closer in this one, and I like him in the top three. But there's several that you could pick a winner out from this group of 11. And I'll let you talk a little bit about some of the field you like here while I go ahead and get the screen set up.
Yeah, Paladin was the one that seems to make a lot of sense and getting bet like he makes a lot of sense, and was a gun runner owned by the same basic group that owned Sierra Leone. So that's where the other comparison I was trying to get to before I stumbled over basically my all of my words. Also trained by Chad Brown, so I think that one's really good. Was an expensive purchase. All of the things that make him make sense. Courting was, I think you said Courting was $5 million.
A $5 million colt by Curlin, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a curling out of a Bernardini mare, and not getting bet at all, which is a little bit interesting after going off 1-9 at Aqueduct a month ago in the beginning of November, and beat Grittiness, who ran second in that race. So I know that you were just talking about liking, and beat him by 2.5, but one was 1-9. So a bit strange to not take any money. I'm kind of going back and forth between the 7 Igniter, who I don't know is going to want this mile and an eighth, though wanted a mile last out and was finishing really well. So if I'm going to get 9-1, which he's currently sitting at, but I'm guessing he's going to come down a little bit off of that, probably closer to 7-1. Probably not quite the number I'd want on a horse like that, but I'm probably going to land on one that's a little bit shorter, in Renegade, who did technically beat Paladin last out in the maiden, but was DQ'd. And kind of the DQ made sense. It wasn't a huge uproar, but running now back into a stakes race kind of also makes sense. So the mile and an eighth is where this race kind of gets into that little bit of an iffy ground. It's the longest race they're going to go, 2 yards are going to go in a graded stakes race at all. And it's at Aqueduct. So it's just kind of a weird race. It's always kind of led to some weird results. So I think I'm going to land so either on the 7 Igniter or the 9 Renegade. Not going to have a whole lot of confidence in any of those. Courting the 6 also is making some sense, but not getting bet. And I kind of thought that it would. So it's making me think there's something a little bit wrong. Not wrong, but maybe not as live as I thought that horse would have been coming into this race. And then just to mention the one underlay or the big price that you were talking about, the 4 grittiness that you kind of had a like for. I kind of like Chambersville, who Kenny McPeak switching from turf to dirt. Irad Road at Keeneland last out, mile and an eighth on the turf. Now he's switching him to dirt, and he's 40 to 1 currently on the line, but looks like he may go off at 50 to 1 or so. I kind of can't make an excuse for this one not to run underneath. So, given the distance, he's already ran a mile and a 16th twice and now running a mile and an eighth for the second time. Kind of feel like he's one that's going to come in and at least pick up some pieces. So, he'll be all over my trifectas. I may even do a trifecta key box with the 5 keyed, and then just kind of throw in some of the other ones and hope that the 5 just kind of hits the board.
Yeah, this is a fantastic betting race. First of all, it's a field of 11, which surprised me a little bit. I thought it would be closer to field of 8 or 9. But you got 11 choices here, and we're kind of spread out all over. I think any one of 4 or 5 horses could win this. I think there's some really good horses in here. I think there's a couple of Derby runners in here. Um, so getting back to my top, the ones I really liked, I think Paladin. Everybody, there's a lot of hype around Paladin, and
Yeah.
I like that you get Flavrian with Chad Brown. I think this one's legit. The other one I really like is the 9 Renegade. I think this one's going to close really well and going to be in the money. The one I really liked was Talkin'. But I watched that last race and just was a little bit too far back for me early. Made a nice run late, but I think he's going to need to be closer. If his style changes a little bit today, where he's more mid pack, like second or third or fourth in this race, I think he's got a really good chance to close and win this one. But I got a feeling he's still trying to figure it out. So I'm not putting him really in my horses to win. I'm using 2, 7, and 9. That's Paladin, Igniter, and Renegade on top. And then I'm using those same 3 underneath in a trifecta. Uh, I'm adding Talkin in, and who's the other one to see? It would be 279. Oh, I'm adding courting, and my long shot is Grittiness, who ran a really nice second to Napoleon Solo. I like the style. He was kind of mid pack. He made a nice run. It was wide. He was gaining ground late. He was only maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 lengths back, but he was closing really nice. And at 71 to 1, I think you absolutely have to use Grittiness in your exactas, your trifectas, and your superfectas, because this is the one that's going to make this really pay. I'm hoping for a second place finish for Grittiness. If he wins this damn thing, I'm going to be kicking myself.
I will be a little upset with you if this one wins. You don't have even a penny of it on the win end. So
yeah, I'm talking it up, and then I don't even have him on first. But that's just, I think he's really good. I just don't think he's capable of winning in this group.
yeah, and I don't think you're wrong for having that opinion. But also at the longest, well, second longest shot on the board, you better play it across the board just to, not want to be very upset with yourself when we get to the end of this thing here. So I may do it on your behalf just so I can say that I had it.
Well, as odds are dropping, they were over 100 to 1 right about when we came on, and then they were in the 70s, and now they're 68. So I would imagine by the time this race goes off in 4 minutes, that he'll probably be around 50 to 1 because
Yeah,
it was way too high.
Yeah, look at the projected odds. Grittiness looks like he'll be 50 to 1. Chambersville looks like 55 to 1. So they'll kind of come and meet in the middle there. And I think what we'll end up with is me and you are going to have the 4 and the 5, kind of all of our trifectas. And then it looks like more of the more logical is the 2 and the 9. And you like the 7. I like the 7 and the 6. So I kind of followed you with the 2, 7, 9. and then kind of filled in with the 4 and the 5 and threw the 6 and the 11 in there also. So kind of covering everybody but the 1, the 8, and the 10, which are the three that kind of don't make a lot of sense. The 10 we haven't really talked about, but used to be with Baffert, ran in the Delmar Futurity, and then ran in the American Pharoah, and then got kicked out of the Baffert barn, sent over to Brittany Russell, who ran him on a sprint at Laurel, and he won by 5.5 lengths. And they moved him up to New York and stretching him back out. So it's kind of the second tier Bafferts go to Brittany Russell on the East Coast, and she's kind of moved this one over there and now moved it up. Same ownership group that just changed trainers. So that
Yeah,
one
I
kind of
would.
scares me because it was getting
Yeah,
bet
me
every
too.
time it ran.
Yeah, no, and Brittany Russell's had some really nice colts lately. So I don't think it's much of a step
Yeah,
down. I mean, the Baffert barn is highly touted, but going to the Brittany Russell barn, I don't think is that much of a knock. So probably one to pay attention to. Um, Balboa is currently 28 to 1, so
yeah.
he is the third longest shot on the board, and I always like the second and third longest shots on the board. Um, we probably should. You know what? This is probably one of those where I should box Grittiness, Chambersville, and Balboa in some kind of an exacta, just in case. But I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. I know I should, but I'm not gonna do it.
I just did something semi like that, but I did the trifecta key box because that's been my new favorite bet for some reason recently. And so I keyed Igniter because it's the one that's kind of the longest of the shots of the more obvious ones. And I included the 2, your 4, my 5, courting because I want to make this ticket as expensive as possible. And then Renegade, who we've talked about, and I think Renegade's the most likely winner in my opinion. But this race is kind of wide open. And then I threw Balboa in. So it's 7 with 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 in a trifecta box for 50 cents. It's $45. So I somehow went from not liking this race all that much to being in this race for way too much money. So we'll see if I just blew a whole bunch of money, and we're gonna get the top 3 finishers or top 3 betting choices here. Go 1, 2, 3, and it pays $12.50.
I think even if the favorites come on top with this field of 11, I think it's still going to be pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, well, even if Paladin and Renegade are the top 2, I still think it's going to pay okay because of the
Hmm.
size of the field and because the odds are spread out. But
Well, and idiots
highly
like you and I
unlikely.
are, yeah, you and I are throwing every horse in on this. So, all of our 50 cents get thrown in and paid out to those ones. So, um, yeah, I think with that many horses and because 9 to 5 is ugh, a bit low, and maybe there's something about that too that we should just be saying the two's going to win this one for fun and move along. So,
I think it's okay though if he wins because I got grittiness underneath. Grittiness is going to balance this thing out.
yeah,
I
he
re-
will.
I really like grittiness. I just hope he doesn't win because that's what happens.
Well, you like I said, you better play it across the board there.
No.
I'm doing it on your behalf. I'm doing a win play show for $5 on the 4,
Yeah,
and
you're probably right. I should probably just put a small win wager on this one just in case. God damn it. I should have probably did a money back on this one. Just to because I would imagine there's probably a money back special on this being a derby prep.
I didn't
Where is
see
it?
anything on anyone's that I'm betting on, but always possible.
All right, let's wager. Let's put win bet. Are they going in yet?
They're walking up.
Okay. I got it. All right, that bet is in. I can stop worrying about that now. Let me turn the volume up on this. Uh, good luck if you're wagering. I don't
I'm
hear any
gonna need it.
sound. There it is. Come on now. Unmute. There we go. All right, I have the 279 on top of the same 3 with 4, 6, and 11 added to the second and third spot. Good luck if you're wagering. Still not hearing anything.
Courting steps forward and goes in. Still waiting on Paladin. Paladin goes in. Igniter. I did. Renegade. With grittiness stepping in. 3 out. Chambersville. Balboa. Talkin will be the last to load. A mile and an eighth. $250,000. Grade 2. It's the Remsen right here at Aqueduct. All set. And they're off. Slight stumble for Chambersville. Speed at the rail, day one starter. Paladin is a well-settled third now, as joining this leader from the outside is Balboa. Balboa and day one starter. They're far apart, but they're a clear 1-2 as they work around this first turn. Paladin is right in behind them, is in third. Towards the outside is Talkin, who had that far outside draw, is now in the 2-path in fourth. Just behind them, that's Igniter, who's in fifth, and at the rail, I did in sixth. Just behind them, that's going to be Renegade in seventh, who's 3 clear of Grittiness, Courting. Second to last, Chambersville and Concarno is the trailer in the 112th running of the Remsen. It's day
I really
one
like.
starter with a half-length advantage.
I like
Day
Talkin's
one
position
starter,
here.
and Balboa is a comfortable second, just stalking this pace setter. Day one starter and Balboa through a 47.47 half-mile time. Paladin right towards the inside, begins to move forward as a neck in front of Talkin. And here comes a 3-wide move from Renegade. Renegade is warming to the task, is passing rivals quickly with less than a half mile to go.
4.
Day one starter.
You're starting early.
Ready to challenge and confront the leader, is now a neck in front. Renegade is 3 wide. Paladin is scrubbed along here from fourth. Courting starts to make an appearance here, is taken fifth outside of Talkin. Grittiness will be wide. Igniter is starting a rally as they're approaching a quarter mile left to go. Balboa and day one starter are still there. Renegade and Paladin, they hook up again on the grandstand side. It's Balboa who's in front. Paladin and Renegade battling on in between horses, and the boys are at it again. It's Paladin and Renegade. They've got a 16th left to go. Paladin to the outside edge is clear. Paladin will win the Grade 2 Remsen. Paladin wins it over Renegade. Balboa finished third, and Courting in 1 minute 50 and 4.
Well, nice run by the top 2. Your Balboa, Balboa, the one we were afraid of, came in third. And you know who got fourth? I think Grittiness.
You think so?
I think Grittiness beat Courting. Grittiness is on the outside here. I think Grittiness got there.
Oh, 7 got there.
So Balboa. So watch. Balboa's third. That's the 29-1, and I think the 4 Grittiness at 55-1 got their fourth. Oh no, you're right. You give us fifth. That was Courting.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that makes me feel better.
Of all the tickets that I played, I only played one with the 10 in it, and it had the 7 in the trifecta. So I just lost a lot of money on trying to beat a Baffert horse that's not a Baffert horse running third. So you got the 2 obvious ones that we were talking about the whole time. Yeah. And is that a good time? It seems like that's a good time for a mile and eighth for 2-year-olds.
At Aqueduct, yeah. I think it's okay. It's not, I mean, you want to be closer to 136, but I think at this stage, being that it's December, I think it's okay. Because the splits early were moderate. 23, 47, 112. You'd like that 3/4 to be closer to 110. But I like the fight between the 3 horses at the end. They only had to fight within each other, not against the clock. So, yeah, a nice win for Paladin. A lot of people really like Paladin coming into this race. I did too. I just didn't think he was I didn't. I had him as one of my choices on top.
Unofficial order finish in today's ninth race. First, the 2, Paladin. Second, the 9, Renegade. Third, the 10, Balboa. Fourth, the 6, Courting.
Courting's about
2,
where I thought
9,
he would
10,
finish.
6.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be third or fourth. I think this one is a mistake at $5 million. My guess is he will not be on the Derby trail much longer. They'll probably give him one more shot, and then after another third or fourth place finish, they'll probably pull him back. But Paladin and Renegade, I really liked Renegade. I thought Renegade was going to run better than Paladin. Actually, they were close enough to where you could say it was an equal match. I think Balboa clearly, we probably should have used Balboa underneath at 29-1. That's the one that's going to help this thing pay. That was the value.
Yeah.
That was a value play with grittiness that we should have played. But I liked.
Go ahead.
I liked grittiness to finish. Just was a little bit too far back early and went 6 wide. I think if he's able to find more of a rail run, he probably gets in these top 4. But he had to go 6 wide, and he was pushed out. He was pushed out by somebody that I think it was Courting that pushed him out. I think Courting was way back. I will have to watch the replay.
So I just looked in the so that time, let's call it 151, though slightly faster than 151. When Dornock won, he won it at 150.3. Poster last year at 150.37. And then Mo Donegal in 2021, who one of the only times it's been on a fast track, was 153. So that's about the same time you've been getting on the Remsen for the last 5 years or so. It's kind of right in line.
Yeah, and especially for East Coast horses who we don't necessarily put real high on the tier. They're kind of in the middle. I'd say it's okay. I think Paladin and Renegade have a really good shot at getting in the Derby.
Yeah, especially if they stay in New York and go on the Aqueduct Trail, where it's a little bit easier than going down to Arkansas or going down to Kentucky or to Florida.
Right. I think Fletcher's might actually go to Florida. Is Renegade a Pletcher?
Renegade is, yeah. Pletcher
I think he goes to Florida.
Ripoli's in on that one, and then Palatine is, like I said, the same group that owns Sierra Leone, basically, with Chad Brown. So yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Chad Brown sends Palatine down to Florida also. So they may both end up in Gulfstream, if we're being completely honest. But also, they may stay here because it makes sense.
Well, Balboa, I think, is one that'll probably go to the Midwest. I think Brittany Russell will probably, Oaklawn or something in the spring. But we'll see. That's one I'm going to keep an eye on. That was a nice run from Balboa. And
I was going to say the one thing to pay attention to was in race 3 was the Demoiselle, which was the 2-year-old version of this for the girls, and Zany ran it 0.42 seconds faster than the boys just ran it. So she may be the one to look for if you can get Kentucky Oaks odds early on. We may be too late now, but she was cruising out there.
What was the name again?
Her name was Zany, Zany.
Okay. Well, you can always get those directly at the casino with I think they serve Oaks futures, right? Or is it just
they
Derby?
haven't recently. Years ago they did, but I don't think they have in the last couple of years. And like Caesars, which normally has the Derby ones, they just came out with the Derby ones. I don't think that long ago. So
yeah. Well, I want to see this replay. I want to see, was Balboa near the front most of the time?
Yeah,
I know he went out early. Did he keep the lead, or was he second at one point?
He was second most of the time behind the one who I was terrified of, because we talked up the 50-1 shots that we liked, and the 50-1 shot that was in the lead going to the turn. I was like, oh my God, did we talk about all of them except for that one? So I'm glad that we at least mentioned Balboa, because he was right there. He was, one like right off the end of the one in first.
Yeah, he kind of ran like a Baffert, really. Front runner, sets the pace. and finishes pretty nice. He just was a little bit outclassed, I think. Here,
Yeah, I don't think he's that good as these ones. I mean, as we just saw, but also I think that's why he got out of the Baffert barn. But I bet Baffert wishes he still had him, considering what Baffert has at home.
I know it. And how disappointing for Courting. Jeez, another dismal finish.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I am a little interested on what this group actually looks like. Before the race started, I was telling you, I don't know if we were talking about. I had the over under on this as 1.5 in the Derby gate, and I'm definitely taking the over with Palatine and Renegade now. But those weren't the two that I was thinking of. I thought Igniter, no, not Igniter, Courting would be the one that would be in the gate, and it certainly seems like I'd go more on your end of like they're going to keep running him because they paid $5 million for him, and $5 million isn't nothing for anybody, let alone, a horse. So you got to figure they're going to try and keep going with that one. But that was not a race that you're really all that interested in seeing what he's going to do coming out of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. I another one that was disappointing was Talkin. Talkin
Yeah.
faded badly at the top of the stretch, or actually into the turn, faded badly. So I don't know what's going on with Talkin. It's too bad because I had a nice future on Talkin.
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't. I don't. I'm going to repeat myself a little bit here, but like I've never really liked the Remsen as a Derby prep, and I think this year is going to be like the Dornoch Sierra Leone. I don't think either of those horses are as good as those two, but I think these two are at least a player moving forward in the 3-year-old division next year.
Yeah, 10 points to the winner here, 5 points to the second place Renegade. I'm trying to think. There's the payouts there. The trifecta ends up paying $166 for $1. Yeah, for with Paladin and Renegade, like I was saying. Remember, I said that's going to be the equalizer. Is that long shot, and it certainly was 166 to 1. The exacta was 10 to 1, and the superfecta. Look at that, superfecta paid $7.59 for $1 with Balboa and Courting underneath.
I mean, we for the record, we talked about every horse in the race basically, so it's not like we were like all over this one, but
we just didn't bet
at the end, yeah, we did it the wrong way, and had I really been a little smarter on this, is look at the 2 and say the 2's going to win for fun, which it didn't win for fun, but it was going to win. And if you think the 2's going to win, you just kind of key that one and then go from there.
No, I think we took the right angle. We threw in a long shot, and
just
you talked about Boa.
Yeah.
I didn't have much time to bet. It was kind of a last minute thing, and that was the problem. But here's the replay.
They're off. Slight stumble for Silversville. Speed at the rail, day one starter Paladin is a well.
Yeah, because I mean that 10's out there right now.
From the outside is Balboa. Balboa and day one starter. They're far apart, but they're a clear one.
Is that Paladin on the rail, or is he the one that's kind of third?
Right behind them is in third.
Paladin's on the rail, third.
Yep, third. Okay.
Talkin's just to his outside.
Yep. So Talkin had really no excuse.
No excuse. He had a perfect early spot and just faded bad.
Yep. And then the 9 Renegade is kind of the end of that first group, or that second group there.
Yeah, moving up.
But moving now, yeah. I mean, he was wide all the way around.
So for grittiness, I thought really ran a good race. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. So the 4 is started from the back right now. The number 4, the yellow. And he makes a move here, but he's got to go so wide. And I think it's Courting. He's moving outside now.
Warming to the task is passing rivals quickly with less than a half mile to go. Day one starter.
So Renegade moved first and went 3 wide. I wonder. I mean, with Paladin
is
saving the rail.
Courting starts to make an appearance here. Is taken 5th outside of Talkin.
I mean, he ended up winning by enough that maybe it doesn't make a difference, but
they're approaching a quarter mile left to go.
But now the 2 moves all the way outside.
Day one starter are still there. Renegade and Paladin, they hook up again on the grandstand side. It's Balboa who's in front. Paladin and Renegade battling on in between
Yeah, I
horses,
mean,
and
Balboa
the boys
is
are at it again.
really,
It's Paladin and
that may be the
Renegade.
one
They've
to
got a 16th left to
really look
go.
for.
Paladin to the
Yeah,
outside
because there's
edge is
kind of
clear.
quite a bit of separation
Paladin
between the rest
will
of the
win
group.
the grade 2 Remsen. Paladin wins it over
3
Renegade.
lengths back.
Balboa finished third, and Courting in 1 minute 50.
Courting actually finished okay, but just the fact that he has not been in the, top 2.
Yeah.
Where was Courting early? Courting was a 6, right?
Yeah. Pretty far
He's
back.
on the rail.
Yeah, way back there. He just came out slow.
I
Which maybe
don't see him. Is Courting
he's fourth to the last now.
on the rail?
Second path off.
Oh, okay. I
basically.
see him.
I think that's him.
Yeah, it is. I think.
Well, I was gonna say maybe it's the 6 or the 4, because I know the 4 was back there too.
We'll see here when they come around the turn, but I think.
Yeah, I don't know that regardless, I don't know. He doesn't look like one that's gonna want to go super long to me.
Here's where I think the 4, if he would have stayed in the group and maybe went to the rail. Okay, where's Courting at?
I think Courting was in that big group of horses that was in that that first wave.
Okay, Courting is on the outside here, mid pack.
Yeah, so
grittiness is taking him wide. So it was Courting that took grittiness all the way out. He's got no excuse. He's wide open.
Yep.
Grittiness actually outran Courting for a while, and then at the very end, Courting separated a little bit. Let's see where Courting, how he gallops. They didn't show it. Courting looked like he had a nice gallop out. He may have caught the group, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good race.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one to look at, especially in these preps moving forward. There's enough preps in New York that, you figure some of those are going to run back there.
Yeah, agree. Okay, well, the Remsen, the 10-point Remsen goes to 2 Paladin, followed by the 9 Renegade, then the 10 Balboa 29-1, followed by Courting, who actually finished at 6-1. So, yeah, it's early. It's early December. We do have a nice.
We're getting there.
I know it. And then we have I think is the Los Al Futurity
next week, and then Gun Runner at Fairgrounds the week after that, and the Springboard Mile on the 20th as well. And then
and there's a Japan race this month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's it's not the Cagliari was last week. It's there might be the Nippon something. I don't know. There's a Japan qualifier. It might be the same day. It might be next Friday.
I'm looking. It's Friday. On the 17th. Zen Nippon Nessie Yushin.
Yeah, and that's kind of where they come out.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It's Derby season as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, Gun Runner on the 20th, and then the Springboard Mile at Remington, which is one of my favorite. Never going to make the Derby, but last year we had the one that won that, or the two that ran 1-2 in that race, went to Oaklawn, and one of them made the one that ran second in the Remington Springboard. Was in the Derby. What was
the one that won it was a feel good story. I can't remember was the trainer Lonnie something.
Yeah.
It was a real good feel good story. And then you're right, the second place horse actually I think ran better in the Derby, made the Derby.
Yeah. And then a week off for Christmas, and then January 3rd, that first Saturday in January, you got the Jerome at New York, you got the Smarty Jones at Oaklawn. And then we're up and running.
Yes, we are. All right. Well, that would seem like a quick off season, but I'm glad I have to start padding the budget.
Ready. Me too. After that race, I had money in my account. Now I don't, and I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Well, it's been a bad week for me as far as that free money and last minute
Ugh,
money, but we'll get
yeah.
better at it. All right, Nick. That's it for Weekend Double. We'll be back next week, I take it, for the Los Al journey.
Los Al. Now we're
All right.
talking.
All right. Take care. We'll see you guys later.